Series champions.
It's that on-top mentality. Congratulations to the World Series champions. Incredibly special team. So proud of these players. I know the fans back in their hometown. Everybody going nuts right now. It's going to be such an amazing reception when they return home.
World Series champs. For Chris Singleton and our outstanding crew, I'm John Sciambi. This has been the World Series on MLB The Show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to MLB The Show franchise with the Cincinnati Reds. In the last part, we unfortunately dropped Game 5 of the NLDS to the Phillies, who would go on to lose in 7 to the Diamondbacks in the NLCS. And we got the World Series matchup set up between the Twins and Diamondbacks. And as you saw at the beginning of this episode and looking at the bracket there, the Twins, who fell short to the Dodgers last year, get over the hump and win the World Series in 6 games over the Diamondbacks in blowout fashion in Game 6. The Diamondbacks in real life lost the World Series in 2023, and now in this universe they lose in 2025. So 2 postseason losses in 3 years for the Diamondbacks. Tough look for them, but nice for the Twins to rebound off of losing the World Series last year and getting that title this year, their 4th World Series title ever. Who the heck is this guy that won World Series MVP? Steve Shanklin, a rookie, 74 overall, with good power but not great hitting stats anywhere else, gets World Series MVP as he batted 1,000 with a homer and 4 RBIs. So they did hit a grand slam in Game 6 when I was simming through it, just watching it. So I'd imagine that's how he got that. Postseason MVP in the National League is Ketel Marte for the 2nd time in 3 years, and Royce Lewis in back-to-back years in the American League postseason MVP representing the Twins. And so, yeah, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and kick off the offseason. Contract with first base coach has ended. Let's see. Yes, we've been over this. Oh, retired players. Okay, DJ LeMahieu, he had some really good years in his career. Good year with the Yankees, but with the Rockies was really good for hitting for average. So pretty good career for him. Definitely won't be a Hall of Famer, but kind of a notable name there. Let's see. Anyone else that kind of stands out? Not really. I mean, James Paxton had kind of a long career. Pitched over 1,000 innings, so that's something. AJ Pollock, another guy who's been around for a while, but nothing super crazy. As far as free agents, let's see. Cole Calhoun retired, Mark Canha, Matt Carpenter. Obviously had kind of a career resurgence with the Yankees, but yeah, that was like a crazy. Obviously, he's been an established guy before. He's a multi-time All-Star, but at that point in his career, it was like a Linsanity run because no one was expecting him to come up and rake the way he did with the Yankees. Brandon Crawford, definitely a really good defensive guy for those Giants teams. A couple All-Star appearances. Not the Edwin Diaz, that's the closer for the Mets. That's third baseman. Let's see. Billy Hamilton. Oh, man, every Reds fan was so excited for Billy Hamilton coming up with that speed, but just never figured out how to hit. Let's see. Lance Lynn retires. Nick Martini, who, if you would have just taken our offer of arbitration, or not arbitration, if you would have just taken our contract offer, you could have at least retired on a team. But no, Andrew McCutchen retires, former MVP. Probably not a Hall of Famer, but some really, really good years with Pittsburgh. Let's see, 5-time All-Star, Gold Glove, MVP, obviously. So good career for him. Wade Miley, who threw a no-hitter for the Reds a few years ago. I was actually in a bar in my hometown watching that, which was never thought I would witness that. Charlie Morton retires. Let's see. David Robertson, good closer for a while. 179 saves in his career. Justin Turner, some really good years with the Dodgers is what he's most known for. Developed into a really good DH and hitting for average type of guy, so good career for him. Joey Votto, the glorious King Joey Votto. 12 homers for the Blue Jays a year ago, hit over 1,000 OPS. Is he a Hall of Famer? I think he is. Obviously, there's bias with that as a Reds fan, but people will sometimes forget just how good he was in his prime. But probably in this game he won't get it. But it's funny he's retiring now because in MLB The Show 23, I had a franchise that was like a good 5, 6, 7 years in, and he still just was not retiring. But yes, probably not a Hall of Famer in this game, but he's a Hall of Famer in my heart. So sad to see him go. And that kind of wraps up all the notable retirements. Probably no one in the Hall of Fame, yep. So no 2025 inductees. But anyway, so kind of looking, again, I'm going to try to get through free agency a little bit quicker than last year. So we don't need the tutorials and stuff like that. So kind of looking at some of our exclusive free agents. I would like to bring back pretty much everyone outside of Yasmani Grandal and Eduardo Escobar. I know Brent Suter is starting to regress, but he was really, really good for us last year, and I know he's going to be a cheap option. Maybe, we'll let Pagan go. It kind of depends on what kind of money he's looking for. Lucas Sims, I'd like to bring back. Nick Martinez, I don't know. It really just depends on the dollar figure these guys are looking for. Like TJ Antone, I'll probably bring back regardless. Actually, I don't know. Let's see, for like a 3-year deal, he's wanting $5 million a year. I don't know. I do want our bullpen to be good because that definitely has hurt us at times. But our bullpen definitely isn't a weakness. If we look at the guys on roster or under contract right now, James Karinchak, Sam Moll, we got Gregory Soto, who we got last year, Jabot. So definitely want to bolster the bullpen a little bit. And we got plenty of budget, so I'll probably shell out some money for it. So we'll see. Yeah, and then we need to hire a first base coach. I remember that was brought up from simming into the postseason. Our first base coach was Michael Cohen, and I think I'm just going to offer to bring him back. He's looking for $970K for 2 to 4 years. I'll just give him $1 million for 4 years, and hopefully he takes that deal. Not going to rebrand the team. So as far as exclusive free agents, I mean, I don't know. Did we bring back Nick Martinez for $4.6 million a year? What does Lucas Sims want? He wants a lot less because, yeah, that's interesting why he wants so much less. So we'll definitely bring back Lucas Sims on that cheap of a deal. Milo Pagan, again, like we're kind of paying a decent amount for these guys. Now Brent Suter, yeah, I'm going to give him a 1-year deal. For exactly what he wants at 1.3. I'll give him that. Again, Lucas Sims really doesn't want anything. So I'll give him 3 years, 3.6. I'll give him 1.2 a year. For sure. We'll do that. And then I'm not going to bring back Yasmani or Eduardo Escobar just because they're old and they're regressing a lot, and we don't really have a need for him anymore. I'll look to bring up probably Daniel Velozhin this next year to be the backup catcher. We also have Austin Wynn still in the system, so there's some options there for that. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kind of mull the exclusive free agents, and I'll sim up to the first stage of free agency and see where we're at. Yeah, so I guess Michael Cohen just wants us to go fuck ourselves, so he doesn't want to be the first base coach for us. So got to look to other options here. Let's see. All right. That one. There's going to be plenty of good options, so I'm going to go ahead and offer a contract here to Reed Bart. I know the attribute grade isn't as high as some of the other guys, but one thing I value is to continue increasing the steal rating as well as speed. We do get the knockdown from the reaction time, but that's not really a huge deal to me. So I'm going to go ahead. He wants, let's see, 930K for 2 to 4 years. I'll give him 950 for 4 years, and hopefully he accepts that and see where we go from there. As far as the exclusive free agents, I've gone ahead and decided to give TJ Antone a contract extension, or at least offer him. He's pitched in at least 60 innings for us the last 2 years and has been great both of those years. Obviously, I already showed we gave Lucas Sims and Brent Suter offers. I'm going to let Nick Martinez and Emilio Pagan walk just so that I can kind of give myself more options in free agency to bolster the bullpen for maybe some younger options, because not that these guys are super old, but Martinez is starting to regress a little bit. Pagan's getting better, but he's getting to that age where he's going to start regressing, even though he's been fantastic for us in the 2 years we've had him. Martinez has been good too, but I'm just going to let him walk and see if we can get some better options in the bullpen. So let's go ahead and sim up to free agency 1 real quick. We have not gotten an accepted contract from Reed Bart, but I'll kind of keep my eye on that. But let's go ahead and look at the free agency class. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is the headliner name. Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette, Zach Gallen, Ryan Helsley, and Dylan Cease are all 90 overall or better with A potential. So some pretty good free agents out there. As far as relief pitchers, definitely want to look to bolster that a little bit. Could look to add maybe a veteran starter who's not necessarily looking to be in the rotation, but could be a long relief guy for us. So I'll look at those type of options. Like, I don't know. Let's see, what kind of overall do we need to get into for guys to start to expect be in depth? So like Tyler Mahle, who's a former Red, could be an option there. So yeah, I'll look into that. And then as far as, actually real quick, let me go ahead and bring up Spencer Steer to MLB just so that it all makes sense here. As far as position players, I really don't plan to add anyone. Maybe kind of similar to what we did with Eduardo Escobar, we could add kind of a depth guy who can play a multitude of positions. So I know one guy off the top of my head was Jerkson Profar. He's got good hitting stats. The fielding and speed is bad, but he can play a bunch of positions, and he's not so old to where he's going to start heavily regressing yet. So that's definitely a name I'll look at. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and cut away, make some free agency, and maybe offer some more contracts to first base coaches, and then I'll be back with you when something notable has happened. All right, so I've kind of gone through some of the early stages of free agency here. So as far as the 40-man roster guys being selected, some notable guys we brought up in order to avoid them going to the Rule 5 draft. Chase Petty was probably the biggest one. We went ahead and added him. I added Daniel Velohim because I plan on him being the backup catcher for us this year. Andres Chaparro was Rule 5 eligible. We acquired him in the Jake Fraley trade last year. I went ahead and added him just because he's got some intriguing batting ratings, so feel like he could continue to develop and potentially be a piece for us in that regard down the line. And then Andrew Moore, one of our young relief arms that's kind of coming up and improving a lot every year. We went ahead and added him to the 40-man as well. As far as salary arbitration, I offered most of the guys on this list either a new contract or arbitration. Andrew Abbott, James Karinchak, Will Benson, Stuart Fairchild, Jake McCarthy, I all offered arbitration deals. And then TJ Friedel, I'm going to offer him an extension just because he's been a consummate leadoff guy. He's only 30, so he's going to continue to get better, at least not regress a lot. And, yeah, he's been perfect for us as a leadoff guy, so we'll go ahead and bring him back. Jonathan India, 1-year deal just to be a platoon bat. Again, he would actually be free agency eligible, but I think he got injured at the perfect time as far as service time manipulation to where we can offer him only a 1-year deal to get through arbitration and be a platoon bat for us for 1 more year. So we'll go ahead and bring him back, or at least try to. Graham Ashcraft actually only expects to be a depth piece, so I offered him a 2-year deal at $6.5 million to be potentially our fifth starter, if not our long relief guy, to replace Nick Martinez. Gregory Soto, I'm offering him a contract. I would like him to come up and be a part of the bullpen. And then Alex Young, just as a depth piece, I'll offer him a contract as well. Well, actually, I'm going to rescind that offer because I'll talk about what we're doing in free agency so far. As far as tendering contracts, I've given pretty much all these guys on the list a new contract besides Brooks Kriske because he's deep potential, 32 overall or 32 years old. Yeah, we really don't need him. But everyone else, we either renewed their contract or, well, actually, I have to renew a couple new ones because these are guys we added to the 40-man. So let's go ahead and renew those two. Any more? I think that's it. Yeah, so pretty much everyone there will be coming back. As far as free agency, so you see on the right there, some of those guys are guys that we're trying to bring back. But I went ahead and offered Jerkson Profar a 1-year deal to kind of be that Eduardo Escobar role. He's obviously not a good overall, but he's 33, so even though some of his contact ratings regress, he's actually still getting better in some regards. He's got good hitting stats. The fielding obviously isn't great, but he plays literally everywhere on the field, so good versatility there. And again, the hitting attributes are good enough to where if we need him to start or a pinch hit spot, definitely could go much worse there. There were some other options I looked at, but like, Jace Peterson could be an option. There's some other guys. Brian Anderson, Ledmus Diaz was also someone I looked at, but I'm ultimately going to go with Profar. And then kind of similar to what we did with Shane Bieber last year, I'm going to offer a contract to Marcus Stroman, just a 1-year deal. He's 34, so he's not regressing quite yet, but just to kind of be that fifth starter, long relief guy to take our pitching one step further and get better. He's been good his entire career. Very big pitch mix, so we'll see if we can go ahead and add him. Offered 1 year, $15 million, so we'll see what happens there. Then as far as the coach contracts, we're still in need of a first base coach as Reed Bart has not accepted our offer, so maybe I'll look to offer someone else just to kind of speed up that process. But that's how free agency's going so far. So I'll go ahead and cut away and come back when some stuff has happened. Oh, also, the defending champs made a trade already. They traded Simeon Woods Richardson to the Mets for Ronnie Mauricio. Simeon Wood Richardson has actually not appeared in this universe, at least, in 2 years. In real life, he's on the Twins Major League roster. And then Ronnie Mauricio is one of the Mets, well, now former top prospects. I looked at the Mets roster. They're bringing up Luis, the Acuna guy. I don't want to butcher his first name, but yeah, pretty much just making him slot into that second base role. And then Mauricio for the Twins doesn't exactly fit right now, but he'll probably eventually come up and be a piece for him. So that's what's been happening. I'll cut away and come back when more things have happened here in free agency. All right, so about a couple weeks have gone by here in free agency. I'm up to the point where we have to select our our 40-man roster. Right now, as you see there, we're actually one above the 40-man limit, so we might have to make some moves, especially if Marcus Stroman signs with us. But there's some options we can pivot to, like Alex Young and Austin Wynns we haven't offered contracts to, so they should become free agents regardless. So that would actually make it work out perfect. But as far as some of the moves that have been made, there's a couple trades. Gregory Santos, who was one of the Mariners' best relievers, goes to the Phillies, who trade away Mundo Sosa and Henry Mendez. If you remember, Zach Geloff was acquired by the Phillies last year, so Edmundo Sosa goes to the Mariners, who actually needed a second baseman. I looked at their roster, so that trade actually makes some sense. And then the Phillies made a move for Henry Davis from the Pirates for Mick Abel, one of their top pitching prospects. The Phillies traded away JT Realmuto to the Diamondbacks in what was a questionable move, but now they get their new catcher of the future, another guy with a big arm. So they're selling away all their top pitching prospects, which is kind of a concern for the future, but they're going to be really good again. So that trade also made some sense as the Phillies needed a catcher. The Pirates value the young arms. As you see here, a lot of young guys with Paul Skeens has the A potential, and they had Indy Rodriguez, who also plays catch and form waiting in the wings. So kind of a logjam there. Rodriguez has some versatility, so I thought maybe they try to play him somewhere else. But yeah, these trades actually make sense. There were some wacky trades last offseason, but so far this early going seems like it's fairly normal so far. In terms of our free agency moves, TJ Antonis came back. Brent Suter also came back. Jerkson Profar accepted his contract from us, so that's good. So it's all small moves to this point, but pending that Marcus Stroman deal, really not looking to make any splashes in free agency again this year. I just want to continue to build from within. As far as the top free agency goes, still early goings of the runnings for these top guys, but some of them garnering a lot of interest, some not so much. And even if Stroman doesn't work out for us, there's still options we can pivot to be, veteran back end of the rotation guys or that long relief guy. So I'm not too worried, but I definitely would like Stroman to accept his contract. But there is also a good possibility he goes back to the Yankees. So I'll go ahead and sim forward a little bit more and come back if anything happens. Almost immediately after I cut away, Ryan Helsley accepted a deal with the Red Sox, so the top closer in free agency leaves our rival Cardinals and goes to the Boston Red Sox, so that helps us with weakening one of the rivals. And then the defending champion Minnesota Twins get Dylan Cease in free agency. So they're looking to just re-up and rearm and make another run for it. So a couple notable moves there. Yeah, I will have to fix that off camera. But one thing I forgot to mention was that I went ahead and offered a new first base coach a contract. I offered Richard Donnelly here. He doesn't up the speed rating, but he does up the stealing by 2, the reaction by 2. So the arm strength goes down a little bit, but that's fine. I really, really value that steal rating. So there we go. We get our new first base coach for the next 4 years. So I'll go ahead and tinker with the 40-man roster because that might be what's holding Marcus Stroman back from signing with us. I don't really know, but yeah, I'll look to trade, Lyon Richardson or something like that. We'll see. Or can I just release these guys? Yeah. They don't have to be on. Yeah. I don't plan on them being on the team. So, yeah, now we should be good, right? Yeah. Okay. So, again, I'll cut away and come back if something fun happens. Kyle Tucker leaves the perennial contending Houston Astros and goes to the East Coast in Miami. The Marlins have not been good, both in real life and in this franchise. So hopefully that gives them a star to at least make them somewhat competitive in the NL East, but probably not. And then he's not on our pending offer. So, yes, there we go. Marcus Stroman is on the Reds. So maybe us having too many guys on the 40-man was holding him back, but there we go. So that finishes off our rotation. He'll be the fifth starter. Graham Ashcraft will be a long relief guy, essentially play the role that Nick Martinez had. And so if we kind of put our rotation together here, we got Sam Mullen, Graham Ashcraft there as the long relief guys. Ian Jabot, Gregory Soto, Lucas Sims, all middle relief options. We'll probably send one of these guys down because TJ Anton's up as well. And then Brent Suter, James Karinchak as those setup guys. And then Alexis as the closer. So there's the pitching staff. It looks pretty good in my opinion. I'm going to go ahead and have Hunter Green as the opening day guy. He won the Cy Young, so he deserves it. So, yeah, it fills out the 40-man roster. I really don't plan on making any more moves, which I know is boring. So from here on out, it's just going to be, seeing what else happens in free agency because I really don't plan on doing anything. It honestly went perfect in my mind. So, yeah, that'll do it for us making moves, but I'll cut away and come back for when some of the big names like Vladdy and Bo Bichette. Ooh, the Blue Jays could honestly get completely fucked here in free agency. They could lose their 2 best players, but we'll see. Be right back. The Red Sox continue to bolster their pitching staff as they go ahead and add Michael King, who was one of the top starting pitching options. If you remember earlier, they added Ryan Helsley, the top closer. So Boston, who has been irrelevant the last few years, looking to return to relevancy here in this universe. And then kind of going through some of the other moves, a couple more trades. Nick Castellanos to the Phillies straight up for Colton, or sorry, to the Orioles straight up for Colton Cowser. And then the Cubs acquired Tyler Soderstrom. I looked at some of these trades. I don't think the Orioles trading away Cowser makes a ton of sense, but it is what it is. But the Soderstrom trade to the Cubs and what they gave up for him actually made a lot of sense. And then as far as free agency, just kind of looking at some of the other moves we made. Lane Thomas to the Astros, a couple of minor league guys being signed here. So we're at the point in free agency where guys who didn't get offered arbitration or contract extensions become unrestricted free agents. So we're seeing some guys get signed, like Edmundo Sosa, who got traded to the Mariners. Evidently, they didn't offer him a contract because now he's going to the Tigers. So that was kind of funny. Some platoon guys going. Kyle Farmer, Kikuchi, Giolito, all getting signed. Some relief arms. Tommy Edman to the Royals. That's kind of a notable one as the Cardinals continue to get weaker, which is good for us. Nasty Nestor goes to the Orioles, so he stays in the AL East. Nick Senzel to the Royals. Joey Meneses to the Astros. Let's see. Bethancourt to the Yankees. Kyle Tucker, obviously showed that. Signed on the same day as Marcus Stroman. Schwarber to the Giants, so that's kind of a big bat out of the Phillies lineup, which maybe influenced them going after a younger outfielder with Colton Cowser. Mateo to the Phillies, so they've been really, really busy here in free agency. The Giants got some bullpen help and starting pitching help as well, and they got Paul Blackburn and Tyler Mahle. Holy crap, they've been busy. Wilmer Flores to the Diamondbacks, Hunter Renfroe to the Rangers, Sanchez to the Astros, Ed Rosario to the Astros. Some of these teams have been very busy. So we actually made the first free agency signing. That was Jurickson Profar. I've just been kind of simming up, looking at if there's any trades. Okay, a couple trades for, looks like some pitching changes. So AJ Minter, a good relief arm, goes to the Diamondbacks for Bryce Jarvis to the Cardinals. I would imagine the Cardinals just want to get younger because it seems like, where's Bryce Jarvis? Yeah, 28 years old. I mean, I feel like Minter's, okay, yeah. So I think the Cardinals, realizing they're all old and their players are leaving them, are trying to get younger. So they probably won't be very good next year, I'd imagine. Let's see, what was the other one? Jeff Hoffman for, Brett Beatty. Okay, Brett Beatty to the Cardinals. The Cardinals again make a move. Okay, so that's interesting. Brett Beatty's not good, at least not yet, but he's got the A potential, and as you see there, his ratings went up, especially the contact against righties. So maybe he's the heir apparent to Nolan Arenado at third base, whose contract expires in a couple of years. So, yeah, it looks like the Cardinals are definitely looking to just get younger. I'm definitely surprised by that trade. Now, the Mets can definitely finagle their roster in a way to make it make some sense, but just looking at it, I mean, they got this guy who's one of their top prospects that can play third, so that's probably what they'll do. Yu Chang, who they signed in free agency. Frankie could also play there. But Hoffman's a good relief arm, but that's just kind of a surprise move, honestly, to give up a potential third baseman. But, hey, what do I know? Let's see. Any other free agency additions that are worth noting? Not really. Harold Ramirez to the Cubs, a good platoon bat. Not a ton going on. All right, the draft lottery, perfect. So obviously we're not going to be a part of this, but if you remember last year, all the teams at the top of the draft order got absolutely fucked. I'd have to go back and actually watch the video to see just who got fucked and how much they got fucked by. But as you see there, top odds, the A's, Nationals, Rockies, some of the usual suspects, and then, Pirates, Red Sox, Padres, all in there. And then there's some good teams in there that just had bad years last year, like the Orioles, Yankees are in there. So we'll see. We're going to have the 26th pick. But let's see how the lottery shakes out and if it's a little more forgiving for bad teams this year than it was last year. All right. Okay, so the A's get screwed over as well as the Nationals and Rockies. So once again, the three teams with the best odds for the number one pick get screwed over a little bit. But the Pirates, Red Sox, they're kind of right in that range. The A's get the fifth pick, but poor Nationals and Rockies. Poor Rockies, they're never going to be good. Marlins move up, and then the rest of it played out like normal. So there you go. There's a draft order. The bad White Sox, who have some good prospects. If you remember, Julio Nava's the top prospect in baseball, is on their roster. They get the number one pick. Which, speaking of rookies, I forgot that our rookies are now on our team. So Patrick Hill, who has the highest potential that we drafted, I believe he had in the high 90s maybe. There he is, Jeff Casado. Ken Jacobson. Remember, Hill and Jacobson were just complete shots in the dark, and they were our best prospects in terms of potential. Jimmy Jenkins, our first-round draft pick, slots in there. Pretty bad ratings, honestly, to start off, but, it is what it is. And didn't we draft a pitcher that is not showing up here, right? Or was it? Oh, Pedro Aguilar. Yeah, there he is. Okay. He's actually a decent overall to start, so that's good, but... yeah, our rookies aren't anything special, but it is what it is. Let's see. Should I just cut away? Yeah, I think I'll just cut away. I guess we can look real quick as Vladdy evidently went back to the Blue Jays, but it doesn't look like they're going to even offer a contract to Bo Bichette. So looks like they're just going to let him walk, as do the Diamondbacks with Zach Gallen. They're just not offering it, or at least they're not in the running for it. So interesting. Real life Padre Luis Ariz isn't garnering any interest, which is surprising, just to be a leadoff guy, even though he hit almost 20 homers this year. So, yeah. But yeah, I think Vladdy, because he didn't pop up on the screen. Yeah, he just went back to the Blue Jays. So at least they get one of those guys back, but it looks like they're just going to let Bichette walk. So we'll see what happens there. Right after I cut away again, kind of not really the answer to letting Bichette walk, but they went ahead and traded Anthony Santander for Alex Bregman. So Bregman will slot in their middle infield somewhere, and Santander will go over to Houston and be a part of their outfield. So there you go. That's sort of an answer to letting Bichette walk, but we'll see. As I suspected, looking at the offers for Zach Gallen, the Diamondbacks just let him walk. So after going to the World Series, the Diamondbacks have let their ace walk, and he goes to the Houston Astros, who just made a move for Anthony Santander, and I've been busy this offseason, so big move there. JT Realmuto back to the NL East, but this time he will be playing in the Big Apple for the New York Mets. Only a one-year deal. He's up in his mid-30s now, so still a good option at catcher, but he's definitely going to start regressing here soon. And then today is also the Rule 5 draft. So I don't intend to draft anyone, but, we might see some notable names go. Looks like the A's used both their selections, which you don't see a whole lot. Do we even get a pick? Okay, no, we don't. That's funny. I thought we would get a pick, but let's see. Tyler Phillips, B potential, 70 overall. There's a kind of a utility guy there. Corey Lee, not really super young catcher anymore, but still decent potential. Wow, look at those hitting stats. 100 career average. Yeah, let's not waste too much time on the Rule 5 draft. Just assuming a few days now. See if anything's happened. A couple trades. So Santander trade that we saw, and then Phillies. Jeez, the Phillies are making so many trades. They trade away Gabriel Rincones Jr. to the Yankees for Carlos Rodon. So I'll cut away off camera and kind of look at the rosters, how they're shaking out. But yeah, some more moves being made. We kind of saw how the Brewers weren't really making a run to bring back Devin Williams, and the answer to that is by trading for Andres Munoz, who's on a cheap deal, and they give away, I would assume, a couple of their top prospects there, and Jacob Mishorowski and Brock Wilken. So we're getting towards the month. Okay, Luis Castillo. What the heck? they trade away that Acuna guy for a pitcher, they're going to have no middle infield now. What in the world? And Jet Williams as well. So who I thought was going to be, the replacement for Ronnie Mauricio, they just traded away to the Mariners, who they get Luis Castillo back, but yeah, I don't know if that's going to be a good move in the long term for them, because if we go to their roster, I mean, they got this guy, they brought in Yu Chang, but like, I don't know. The middle infield is just going to be, well, actually, I moved Jeff McNeil to first base when they trade away Mauricio. But they have Garrett Cooper. They have this guy, Ryan Clifford, who's one of their prospects, who's got some good power. But like, none of these guys can move down the infield. So, well, they got Zach McKinstry. So maybe they'll make it work, but we'll see. Definitely got a better pitching staff now, as they brought in Alex Wood as well. They brought in Nick Martinez, so there you go. Severino's there, so they get a new ace. And the Mariners, I'm kind of surprised they're making these trades, because they've been really good. But looking at it now, all their pitchers are young and good, so maybe they're just cutting bait on the old guy, and they bring in. Yeah, actually, that makes a ton of sense for them. They're going to be good for a long time, looking at this roster and the age and everything. So, and I'm just going to go ahead. Matt Brash is absolutely filthy, so he's going to be their new closer, I'd imagine. So, yeah, the Mariners should shape out to be pretty good. So, yeah, good for them. And then the Mets, we'll see. I don't know about their strategy, but who knows? Some up to the end of the month here, some through the weekend. Looks like some of the other free agents have been brought in. Bichette still doesn't have a ton of interest. Devin Williams has like almost none. Arise is getting some other offers, but the Marlins still have the best one. Eugenio Suarez, a former Red, getting a couple offers. Looks like, see, the Angels are getting some pitching help. The Phillies, another move to bring in Max Kepler. Oh, the Mariners. Oh, they made multiple trades. Okay, they trade away Cole Emerson for Ryan McMahon, and then they made that Andres Munoz trade. A couple other trades being made. Caleb Ferguson, okay. Some kind of minor ones there. Let's look at free agency. Buck Farmer, former Red, goes to the Braves. Let's see. Raisel Iglesias to the Angels. J.J. Bleday, Astros. Dylan Flores to the Angels, so they're bringing a bunch of relief help. Joe Adell to the White Sox, former top prospect for the Angels. Amir Garrett, another former Red, to the Brewers. Phillies bring in Connor Joe. Corey Julks to the Mariners. Yeah, some Kyle Higashioka back to the Yankees. Steven Matz to the Yankees. A lot of those, like, middle-level guys, platoon guys, end of the rotation, bullpen names being signed here. Nick Martinez, we saw that. Kyle Hendricks to the Blue Jays. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and sim forward. Pete Fairbanks traded from the Rays to their rival Blue Jays, which is kind of surprising. The Rays coming off a year where they won the AL East, and now they trade their closer to the Blue Jays for, I would assume, an ensemble of prospects. So who was the Blue Jays closer before that? Oh, they had Jordan Romano, and they still have Jordan Romano. So, holy crap, they have just an overhaul of closers here. Let's go ahead and fix some of these guys to be just relief arms, because obviously Fairbanks is going to be the closer in this situation. So kind of normalize their rotation, or their bullpen here, rather. And then the Rays, who do they have? Why would they make that trade? I mean, they got Jason Adam, I guess, who was a closer at one point, right? Yeah, interesting there. I guess, yeah, Jason Adam will just slot in and be their new closer, unless they're looking to bring in Devin Williams. Who knows? But can't remember the prospects they got off the top of my head. But I'll go back and look at that. But yeah, kind of a weird move there. Um, just sim a few more weeks here. All right, let's see. What do we got? No more trades after that. Free agency wise, let's see. Yeah, it's just a lot of depth guys, so no real big names. Omar Narvaez to the Phillies. Feel like I've said Phillies making moves like 50 times in this. They have been very busy. Yeah, nothing really super notable here. Merrill Kelly to the Yankees. Brooks Krisky to the Royals. Yeah, nothing crazy happening. Bichette and Devin Williams are both free agents still. Who knows what's going to happen on that? And we get into February now. And let's see. Yeah, looks like they're still free agents. So I haven't seen notable free agents like that last this long in free agency. So that's kind of surprising. Maybe teams are kind of waiting to shell out big money after the arbitration hearings. All right, so the panel sided with us for James Karinchak. Devin Williams goes to the Braves, so they had Raisel Iglesias, and now they upgrade to Devin Williams on a 5-year deal. And Bo Bichette to the Giants. So, yeah, as I kind of imagine, maybe after the arbitration hearings, when rosters start to fill out more, they'll make moves, and there you go. So, from Canada to the West Coast and McCovey Cove. So, there you go. Bo Bichette, new Giants shortstop. Let's go ahead and sim through arbitration. Panel sides with Abbott, he will make $2.3 million. Panel sided with Will Benson, he'll make $1.7 million. I believe Stuart Fairchild, they sided with him for $1.2 million. Sided with Jake McCoy. Man, we are just getting boned over here. I want to say that's everyone on our team at least. Yeah, I don't think anyone had other arbitration hearings. So I'm going to go ahead and cut away and kind of look at rosters really quick, and then I'll come back at the start of spring training, and we'll kind of talk about the offseason and what to look forward to in 2026. So I'll be right back. One more trade being made here right before the start of spring training. Mr. Burger Man is going to the Big Apple, traded from the Marlins to the Yankees in exchange for Oswaldo Cabrera and Roderick Arias. I know Roderick Arias is one of their top prospects, so Marlins still really not looking to be super competitive, even though they added Kyle Tucker, so maybe a little surprised they're trading away their second best player, or he's up there for him. But the Yankees, who had a bad year last year, looking to bounce back and be competitive again in the American League. And yeah, he's going to slot right in, play third base for him. So makes a lot of sense there as far as the Marlins side of it. They got a couple of these prospects that they could look to play. They brought back Luis Ariz. Excuse me. Very, very young on the infield, it looks like. So we'll see how that shapes up for them. But yeah, they probably won't be super competitive. But they got some nice pieces, though, for sure. Tucker joined in now, so they could definitely be good because they don't have anyone super old. So maybe in a year or two they could be competitive. But on to the start of start of spring training. Shoot, I forgot to go over. I kind of messed with our major league roster to kind of look like, or get to what it would look like for the year. But this is our roster. So, again, not really any different from last year. I'm going to continue banking on improving. But as you see there, we are up to 8th now. So we've been steadily climbing the ranks in terms of ratings. So anything in that top 10 is a legitimate contender. So, well, maybe you could argue like top 5 is a legitimate contender, but we're right there. Our best player ratings wise is Shane Bieber. Matt McClain's up there. Hunter Green, our Cy Young Award winner, is almost in the 90s. Ellie De La Cruz has been improving well. Everyone's been getting better. We have plenty of young pieces. We have some veteran pieces as well. So it'll be another good year, I feel, and I'm happy with where the roster is, bringing back some old faces and, yeah, just going to continue to be patient with some of these young guys like CES and Pico Armstrong. Um, but also, if they warrant a call up, definitely not going to hesitate to do that. So going to be excited for 2026. I think we can definitely make that push for a National League pennant and potentially play in the World Series. Hopefully, we just don't meet the Phillies in the postseason because we can't get past them and we always blow leads to them. But we'll see. As I normally do, I'll finagle with rosters off camera and then I'll sim through spring training and jot down any notable notes and stats that arise during spring training. But we'll see. So when I come back. It'll be opening day 2026, so I'm excited for that. I think the roster, again, looks good. Guys are going to continue to get better, and we're going to be a serious contender again in 2026. I'm sure of it. But, yeah, I'll go ahead and do my normal off-camera roster work for my OCD purposes, and then again, I'll sim through spring training and keep an eye on box scores and stuff and relay anything interesting that I saw. So, yeah, that'll do it for this part. Thank you so much for being a part of the beautiful 2026 offseason for the Cincinnati Reds. And when we record again, it'll be opening day. So excited for that. See you guys then. Have a good day. Goodbye.